Okay, so for our next question here, we have a distance time graph, and this one shows a car in the first few seconds of its journey, and what we're trying to figure out here is how the car is traveling. So, a couple of things I want to go into in this question and draw some distinctions between a distance time graph and a velocity time graph. So on the velocity time graph, right, I told you slope of the curve was acceleration, and I told you area was distance. In this case, if you were naively looking at this and you were saying, oh, hey, I know that, if I take this area, I get distance. That's actually incorrect. This area is actually called abscission. We're not actually ever going to talk about that in this class, but it's a measure of how far away something was and for how long. So don't just naively try to, take the area under the curve because that's something works. And so you just do it no matter what. Actually think about, what is being given to you on this graph. And if you also said, hey, I know when I take the slope, like let's say the slope of this line, it's a positive number, right? The slope is positive, therefore it must have positive acceleration, right? That's what it was on the velocity time graph. Well, this also would be incorrect. It turns out that the slope of a distance time graph is actually velocity. Okay, so when we're on a distance time graph, the slope is velocity. And really that's all we care about in this class. That's all we're going to care about is the slope is velocity. We don't actually care about the abscission, the area, which is kind of like how long has it been this far away. Kind of a weird measurement. So we really only care about slope, and then this question should become pretty easy because all we're looking at here is, well, we've got a positive velocity here, right? Because we have a constant slope. So we have some positive number here for velocity, and then we have a velocity of 0. So then we can see that the car is, traveling forward or traveling in whatever the positive direction is for some time, and then it's stopping and not moving. Okay. So that'll be our answer to this question. Mainly putting this question in and kind of making a video on it to draw the distinction between what happens on a distance time graph is different than what happens on a velocity time graph. And just to have it all in one video, let me go ahead and, if indeed we had this car and I wrote time here and I wrote velocity here, then indeed this slope here would be acceleration, and this area here would be distance. But again, because it's not, because in this case we have distance on the y-axis and time on the x-axis, instead we have velocity, is slope. Okay, and that's it. That's all we can really tell here.